Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials.
Good morning, it's 6:45 on Saturday the 22nd of April. Just making my way down to the land, and as always, not quite sure what we're going to get done today, but let's find out. Well, here we are down on the land. It's a bit of a cold, grey, drizzly morning today, but it is nice to see the hedgerows filling out. It's also nice to see the bee food starting to appear as the hawthorns start to blossom. Lots of the trees actually are now coming out with their blossoms. I was missing in action last weekend. It's been so busy with work. I've spent a lot of time this week travelling. In fact, I've been out every day somewhere travelling. So it is nice that the weekend's finally arrived and I can spend a little bit of time down here. I did post a couple of pictures on the community tab of the fruit trees. Nice to see flowers appearing finally, even on the one that got particularly ravaged by the pests. I honestly don't know how any of them have survived. The two over by the beehive haven't. They're definitely dead. But even the one that was habitually been dug up by the rabbits, you might remember I put some stones, big stones down in there, buried. But even this one, how nice is that? I have been down here and there when I've had the spare hour or so during the week just to check up on the chickens, and I've done quite a bit of work. You might be wondering, what is that? That's an attempt at a scarecrow that I put in. There's some of the bits and pieces which I'll show you when we have a run around, but the fruit trees here also starting to blossom. This is a cherry. How nice is that? The pest problem continues. I don't know how many times I've filled in the raised beds, and look at this. One whiskey barrel where they've been digging up the potatoes again. Another whiskey barrel where they've been digging up the potatoes. Look at the shoots that they've destroyed again. And another whiskey barrel that they've been digging up. It's endless, endless. Anyway, let me get opened up and get the kettle on and get some heat on, and I'll come back to you. One thing I will quickly show you. Look who's out in their little pen. Yes, it's the chickens. They're now coming and going to the heart's content. It is an enclosed area before anybody starts reporting me. It is fenced all sides and roof. They're getting all giddy now because they're expecting me to start throwing some seeds out, which I will as soon as I get opened up. But the reason they're running around inside their little coop is that the avian flu, the bird flu restrictions have been eased. There still are cases, but the restrictions about them being permanently housed inside have been eased. So as long as they are not free to roam, which they're not, it's okay. So they've got a little bit of freedom. Anyway, I digress, as I often do. Let me get inside and opened up. Can you hear the geese? Have they stopped? There they go. Loads of those this year. Loads. Anyway, let me get opened up and I'll chat to you later inside. Well, good morning and welcome to the weekend. Bit of a cold, wet, grey weekend this weekend. I had got all excited with myself. We actually had a couple of days this week where the sun was really bright in the sky, and it was actually quite hot. I've spent pretty much all week, every day this week, I've been travelling somewhere with work. So it really has been literally fly in, fly out visits to check on the chickens and try and do a few little bits and pieces, which I'll kind of come on to in a minute. But I've been keeping an eye on the forecast because last year I got caught out. The last week in April we had a really sharp frost, and long-term viewers might remember I had, as I do now, lots of potatoes in the polytunnel that were just sprouting above ground, and of course they got nipped by the frost and knocked completely back. So all of that effort in trying to get a head start on the planting was all for naught last year. And then of course we had the drought and the endless summer without rain, and it all just kind of went downhill from there. I'm hoping that that's not repeated this year, though I did look at the weather forecast and it is forecasting 0 on Monday. So the paraffin heater has not been off now for, God, I don't know how many weeks, trying to keep some heat in the polytunnel, and if the temperatures drop in the night, which they inevitably have done, I don't have any frost forming. So far, touch wood, all is well, and I will keep that heater going, certainly through next week as well, when hopefully the threat of frost has finally gone. Apologies for the background noise, it's the diesel heater. Just trying to take the edge off in here. It's not desperately cold. We're after a few days of sunshine. We've all been lulled into a false sense of security, so I was distinctly feeling chilly this morning as I got into the car to come down here. Anyway, how are things with you? Did you miss me last weekend? Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you are staying safe and well and enjoying your weekend. As I said, I just haven't literally had the time. It's been absolutely chaotic for a fair few weeks now. And last weekend, I did try and take some clips actually, because I did spend a few hours, it was literally only a few hours down here. One of the things I did get done was I managed to finally get some cladding on the wall here. I'll pop a little clip probably into this video. Didn't have time to do the inside of the cabin at the weekend, so I've just literally now finished cladding inside where the windows have gone in, and to be fair, it doesn't look too shabby at all. It's quite nice actually. A little bit debatable where the chimney's cut in. I think I've left enough space so it doesn't create any kind of hazard. Big air gap there, but yeah, all in all, quite pleased with that, and nice to see light coming in. But other than that, it was just literally flying visits. I did get a bit of planting done. I will show you what I've done there. I did, as you saw when I walked in this morning, pop a scarecrow into the raised bed area. I even did manage to get, last weekend, some more netting onto the raised beds. You know, I've got that netting going over them. It's looking a bit bedraggled, and rabbits and squirrels and whatever else have gradually been chewing So much so that a duck managed to get into one of the raised beds, and of course the rabbits got into the one with the garlic habitually. So I've recovered those, just added a few more layers of netting. Somebody did comment a couple of weeks ago, I think, about netting over the other beds, the sort of square ones rather than the ones that have got the hoops on, and the whiskey barrels. I had meant to do that while I was doing the raised beds, but time was my enemy and I just didn't get it done. And you can see this morning the results. Pretty much every time I come down, those whiskey barrels have been gotten at in some way, shape or form, but today it's all of them. It really is just crazy. I will dig out some more netting and try and fabricate some ramshackle kind of cover over them. But I have got lots. I've got a bag of potatoes on the floor down here that I'm going to plant out more potatoes. I've already got 8, I think, containers plus the whiskey barrels. Although the whiskey barrels, I'm not sure if any of them are actually going to survive in there. They've all been dug up that many times. I might pop a few extras in those just so that I get something out of them in the summertime. I've had a bit of a tidy up in the garden area, done a little bit more planting, so I will run round with you and show you what I've done. Oh, in terms of the big wide world, it's all still kicking off. The conflict in Ukraine continues. Some of the stories that come out of there just get sillier and sillier. The pretty much open hostility now towards China continues apace. I see that the Americans have finally confessed they have got troops in Taiwan, they have got troops in Ukraine, as have the British after constant denials. There were some leaked papers hit the internet a couple of weeks ago, which at the time, a little bit like the Nord Stream pipeline, were totally denied by the various military departments, agencies. But then as more and more papers came to light, the denial was just becoming blatantly obvious as being a lie. So they finally said, well, yeah, we have got a few. It's a very small number. They're just there in an advisory capacity. I really don't know where that is going to end, except it'll end badly in one way, shape or form or another. I hope that it does end. I hope that it does end as amicably as it can without it escalating into a full-blown World War III type conflict. But the way that politicians have behaved over the last few years, I honestly don't know. And I'll leave that there because I've already had people commenting over the last probably month or so about being too political. I do have a right to be political if I want to at the end of the day, but I really do try and keep politics out of it as much as I can. My attitude is a plague on all political parties' houses. None of them over the last, well, pretty much all of my lifetime, none of them have actually done what they say they're going to do when they make promises to get you to vote for them. They're all as bad as each other. If only we could see a rise of a alternative to the traditional two mainstream parties. I said I wasn't going to talk about politics, and I've kind of done it. So stop it. Enough of that. Interest rates continue to rise. There's another interest rate rise due here in the UK. I think it's next week actually. We've literally just had the inflation figures, the official inflation figures announced again this week for March, still over 10%, and that's the official rate, not the real rate, which is clearly far higher. Prices are definitely not going down. Wages definitely not going up. As I say, interest rates continue to rise. So it's business as usual, I guess. My friend Lee at the COVID Hunter channel, I noticed that he'd put a message out on his YouTube channel, basically along the lines of he's not going to be doing videos for the foreseeable future. And I can empathise. He spent an awful lot, pretty much all of his free time, compiling videos of his hunting and cooking wild game. I'm not entirely convinced that everybody that views YouTube videos appreciates how much time there is involved in making those videos. Things like the cabin chat, it's literally just talking. It's you sit down, you turn the camera on and you talk for however long you do. But doing the clips of all the different activities that you get up to, it just drains the entire day, and you end up spending more time doing video and editing, uploading, than you actually do doing the work. So Lee, if you're watching, totally get where you're coming from, mate, and I know that work for you has got even busier lately, so I appreciate you literally just don't have the time. Some things like work and family have to take precedence over compiling a YouTube video to just promote what you're doing, I guess. So yeah, I appreciate the time that you've spent over the years doing the videos, and if things quieten down for you, then I look forward to seeing some more. I'm in a very similar position. You will have noticed the reduction in the number of videos that I've been doing, certainly this year. I really do try to take clips of whatever it is I'm doing, because I do want to encourage other people to do what I'm doing, whether that's the prepping and storing of food, water, essentials, so that you have that insurance policy in place if the main grid system suddenly stops working, which it has, and we've all seen it, particularly over COVID. So for those that say no, business as usual, it'll never happen, it has. Where were you when it happened? And it will inevitably happen again for whatever reason, or whether it's trying to get some kind of self-sufficiency or self-reliance in terms of food production, whether that's planting fruits, vegetables, or whether that's, as Lee does, hunting for wild game. When the grid does eventually fail, what are you going to eat? So whatever you can do to, no matter how small it is, become a little bit more self-reliant, not having to go to the shops as much and pay the exorbitant prices, the better it is for you and your long-term sustainability. And equally, if you don't know how to hunt and clean and process and cook wild game, what are you going to do when the shops haven't got it on the shelves? So the more you can learn and practice now, the easier it will be to transition over to that more self-sufficient lifestyle. Anyway, I've rabbited on quite enough for this cabin chat, I think. Do let me know what you're all up to in the comment section, and let everybody else know what it is you're up to. I do try and read all of the comments, and where I can reply to them, and I do appreciate people taking time out to do that, to leave the comments. Helps me, helps other people. And while you're there reading the comments, press the like and subscribe buttons. The viewing numbers on the channel are, they've actually stopped. They were growing quite well at one point last year, and then all of a sudden they just ground to a halt. Whether that's the algorithm or whether that's people have seen enough and moved on, I don't know. But numbers do matter, so just hit those buttons while you're there. Whatever you are doing, I wish you all very well. I'll get cracked on. I do have lots that I want to try and get done today. With what bit of time I do have, I will give you a run round and show you what I've been up to. It's still too wet, too cold to look at the bees, but they are out there and they have got food to forage for now, so that's all good, and that will only improve. I've already seen signs of the dandelions appearing on the field, so within, I don't know, a couple of weeks I would imagine, as I walk across in the mornings, you'll see thousands of dandelions. So it's a good time now for the bees. Everything is starting to waken up. Hopefully, so will the seeds that I've been busy planting. But I'll get this coffee down me, we'll have a little run around, and whatever else I am doing, I will try and take some video clips. So please do bear with me. I am doing the best I can, I promise you. Okay, I promised you a quick run round. That noise is the diesel heater winding down in here. Bit of a mixed bag, both here and in the polytunnel. You might have seen I put something on the community tab about the blueberries. You can clearly see that they are producing flowers now. In fact, there's an awful lot of flowers on this one, but they've all got flowers coming. Fig tree, I'm hoping that this year it produces something. It's been really disappointing, I guess. It's put lots of growth on, but you can see it's twiggy growth. It's not bushed out at all. Strawberries, the ones in here coming on really well. I guess that's because they haven't got pest problems. We've even got the start of some flowers forming on the strawberries. This one as well, which is nice to see. I think I'll use this one out in the raised beds where the pests have dug up. Bit of a change here. I've actually filled this with soil, and the idea is I'm going to try and get my lettuce grown in here, both for myself and for the chickens obviously. And good news, we've actually got, and if you'll see that or not, if I step back a little bit, we've got seeds coming through, germinating, which is very nice. Don't know why this row has come out before, because there's 2 more rows in there, but this front row seems to have come out first for some reason, all the way down, literally all the way down. Oh, I tell a lie, there's a few in this middle one just coming through as well, but they've only been in, I think I did those last Sunday. One thing I do notice in here is ants. I don't know if you can see that critter little moving around. Get an awful lot of ants on the field. They're everywhere. So hopefully they'll leave my lettuce alone. Outside, let's have a little look. It is actually raining. It's that fine drizzly rain. It's actually still squelching underfoot. It's pleasant looking though. Nice to see the trees and the hedgerows all filling out after what seems to have been a long winter. I'm going to pop a few extra potatoes in here and fill these back in, and I will net them in some temporary fashion. I mean, it's so annoying, they're just chewing all of the shoots that come through and then they're digging up the spuds. It's so annoying. I mean, look, you know, the potatoes are desperately trying to grow here. They've sent shoots out, but they're just digging them up as fast as they're shooting. They're digging them. I recovered all of these netting on the raised beds. Thankfully they've not dug this one up. This is the one that they're always digging in. They've not really touched those other two. So fingers crossed that's going to do the trick. I planted that out again, that bed, and as fast as I planted it, they dug them back up again. Onions coming on real well. Nice to see. I have actually seeded this bed, although I've just noticed that I don't know how these thistles appear. That last week that was cleared out, and now I've got thistles coming again. But that's been planted out. That's got cabbage in it. So eagerly awaiting signs of life in there. I've planted out swede in this one, and I've planted out beetroot in that one. And I'm going to have another go. I said I wouldn't, but I will. Thistles everywhere. I've planted out sweet corn again in this one. So let's see how we get on with that. This strawberry patch is actually alright. Something has been digging, look. But it's okay. And we've actually got flowers in this bed. So that's really nice. Cherry tree in bloom. Very nice to see. No signs on this apple tree though. I don't see any signs of flowers on that just yet. But the main thing is it's healthy and putting on lots of growth. So that's good. That's my little scarecrow. I'm not holding my breath to see if it works or not. But it's there. That's, you know, I've made the effort. In here, I've been taking cuttings of trees. There's a mixture in these of elderberry and buddleia. So we'll see how we get on with those. And I've moved that lavender outside. I will take some cuttings off that this year and try and build up a few bushes to plant out around the field. As I will with the blueberry and the elderberry. Buddleia and elderberry. This is just a few bits of pieces of plants that I've stuck in for flowering. Bit more bee food. So the polytunnel, mixed bag in here. It seems to be a desperate fight. It really does. Carrots have come through. I planted another 6 containers of carrots there, and I will obviously plant some more. The peas, we've got a pest problem with these. I mean, they are putting on growth, which is nice to see. Let's try and train that around that cane. They are putting on growth, but they've had a real struggle. You can tell at the bottom here with the yellowing of the leaves, they've really struggled. It's not for lack of water, it's bloody slugs. I keep finding them. In fact, there's some bloody more down on here. Look, let me just give me a second. A little bit hard to see this perhaps on these peas, but the pests have already started. We've got slugs already there. And this is one of them, little critters. It doesn't want to focus, does it? There you go. It's a slug. Yeah, so bloody slugs. The lettuce never appeared in that centre tray. It didn't on the other side either, so that's coming out and I'll replant. Tomatoes are struggling. They're there, they're hanging in, but they're not coming on as quick as I thought they would. That one's died off. Yeah, they seem to be really struggling. And the seed trays, nothing at all. I don't know whether it's the seeds, because I am using older seeds just to rotate them out of the stock, really. So whether it's that, whether it's just that it is still too cold. I mean, the little paraffin heater, I'm going to burn my fingers now, is still going. On a positive note, potatoes. Slow, but they are coming. Every one of these pots, you can see they're throwing out the shoots. Same in this one. This one. There and there. This one. So they are shooting. This one, strangely, which was planted after those other four, is coming on great guns. It's got some decent foliage coming out now, but again, something's been chewing at these. This one. And these are the last two I planted. There's no signs just yet in these. I've got a couple there ready to go, which I'll plant out today, and I've got some empty ones that I'll fill. I will do at least 4 in here, and then whatever's left of the tubers that I've got, I'll pop out into these whiskey barrels. So the plan today really is just around planting. I'm going to sort these barrels out, plant some more potatoes. I'll take all of those trays and I'll replant those trays, and hopefully, now it is warming up. Don't know if you heard that, that was a pheasant in the field next door. Seen quite a few of those lately. Shame it's not hunting season for them. Bees were out during the week when we had a couple of days of quite decent sunshine. I see the odd one here and there. There's one just popped out of that hive. And there's one literally just popped out of that one as well. So they are out and about. There we go, look. Oh, I've just scared it off. They are out and about. They've been cleaning, obviously. There's debris on there of old bees. They've obviously been having a tidy out in the hives. But at least they've got plenty of food nearby now that the hedgerows are starting to blossom. This is one of the dead trees, which is a real shame. I mean, you do your best to try and protect them, but clearly that wasn't to be. Same with this one, which is a shame because this is one of the first ones I put in. But I mean, you can see all the broken branches, bloody birds, and they've just chewed them all to death. I mean, that's high. I don't know how the rabbits managed to get so high. It's a bit like the whiskey barrels. How are they managing to get up into the whiskey barrels? You know, they're a good couple of feet off the floor. I must have particularly agile rabbits. Or maybe it is something else. I have seen crows in there, but I mean, crows can't dig holes like that. They can take advantage of whatever has been digging and come in and pick up the pieces, but you know, they're not built for digging holes, crows. So I don't know. But anyway, I'll get those sorted out, get some netting over them, plant out more in the polytunnel, sort the seed trays out, and this weather just looks like it's in for the day. So I don't think I'll get much else done. But it's still nice just to be here and not be running in and out as I have been over the last few weeks. It's really annoying when you come down and you're just looking at your watch all the time thinking, hurry up, you've got to get away. I could just wander for hours, I really could. I keep seeing all the little birds pop in and out. There's a robin on that one there, you'll not see it from here on the camera, but some really nice wildlife that doesn't do damage. There's another finch just got up into there. There's an awful lot. Anyway, I'm digressing, as I often do. I'll get on with my chores. If I can video stuff, I will video it. And whatever you're doing, I hope you're staying safe and well and enjoying your weekend. Well, I'm just sorting out my potatoes, ready to start planting out. I've got some really nice chits on these. I'm quite hopeful that we'll get a decent harvest this year. You just never know. It's all down to the weather. You can do your best, and obviously you'll see the finished results, but I'll get these popped into the containers and sort out those whiskey barrels as well. Well, I've filled in the holes and popped in a few extra tubers in these whiskey barrels. So I'll get myself into the polytunnel, plant out a few more containers in there, and then I'll do a bit of netting over the whiskey barrels. They're looking quite nice. Get those popped in, and then we'll tackle these trays again. Well, you've seen me do this loads of times before, so I'll not labour the point with these. I'll just get them popped in, and get them covered over. But I'm quite hopeful with these. There's some quite decent chits on these. Got some more for the containers behind. I'll get these covered over, and then we'll move on to the seed trays. So I'm having another go reseeding these trays. I've got some cucumber, I've also got a couple of tomatoes that I'm going to pop in, just in case the ones I've got in the containers on the floor don't actually take. A little bit of a backup. If I need to, and they all do germinate, then I can always pass those on to other people. So that's a cucumber. I won't do all of these with the tomatoes, but I'll do the majority of them. In fact, I've got the seeds in my hand, so bugger it. I'll do them all. Or as many seeds as I've got. So that's all bar two. There's a stray one there, so I'll shuffle that across into that hole. Any more strays? Oh, there's a stray there. So that's all of them. Get those covered up, give them a quick spray and move on. Well, that's the tray of tomato and cucumber, so that's reseeded. Tried growing these pumpkins last year. They did actually grow, but then the pests just ate them alive. So I'm going to give these another go this year. We'll see how we get on with those. I'm just putting them in these individual pots. See how we get on with these. Right, give these a bit of a water, top up the soil, and we'll see how we get on with these. Fingers crossed. I've got the seed trays done, got the potatoes done, so just putting out a few more buckets of carrots. Excellent. I'll get those dusted over with a bit more compost and watered. And I think that'll be about it for today. This is going to be a bit fiddly. So I'll get it wrapped over and tied down. Let's see how we get on. Not sure this will actually keep them off, but you never know. The things we have to do. What do you reckon? Is this going to work or not going to work? Oh, well, that's not a good start. Snap the bloody string. Obviously don't know my own strength. Right, let's see how that goes on over the coming days. Move on to the next one. Well, there we go. That's the whiskey barrels netted. Just in time as well, because it's starting to come down a little bit heavy with the rain. We'll see how we get on with those. I'm not holding my breath. These pests of mine seem to be really ingenious. All we can do is try. I've even done this one. I didn't have enough to do that last bed. I guess we'll see how we get on with these. I might buy some more netting. I could probably do with some netting in the polytunnel if the peas take off. So that's those. I'm going to get in out the rain, have one last tidy up, and it'll be time to get off then. Well, that's it for today. We're all locked up. We'll see how we get on with the netting. The sun actually is trying to peek out over the trees here, but there's an awful lot of grey cloud. You can probably see it over there, so I aren't holding my breath. What you can probably now see that you couldn't this morning is the dandelions coming through. Loads and loads of them. This field for the last couple of years has ended up being absolutely covered, and whilst normally I'd be getting a little red tractor out and thinking about getting rid of them all, I clearly won't now because it's food for the bees. So I'll give them a bit of a chance to forage on this over the next few weeks, and then as they start to turn before they seed, I'll get rid of them all and make way, hopefully, for what happened last year, which was a first, was all the clover that came out. The field ended up being covered in clover. Bees are making an appearance now as it's starting to warm up a little bit and the rain's eased off. So that's nice to see, as is all of this flowering that's going on. Very nice. Anyway, let me get back in the car and get myself off. I've got loads to do away from here. Hopefully you're all enjoying your weekend. Please do stay safe, stay well, and I'll catch up with you in the next one.
Well, that's it for this video. I hope there was something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, I welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. Just feel free to leave them in the comments section below. But for now, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.